Pittsburgh Trivia is a production of Warrior House Media.
Welcome to Pittsburgh Trivia with your host, Jim Cannon, where uncovering the crazy truth and trivia about Pittsburgh is just the beginning. And who knows, you may even learn a few things in the process. We know life can get pretty interesting around Pittsburgh. Speaking of interesting, did you know that?
Hi, and welcome to Pittsburgh Trivia, an interactive show that will test your knowledge of all things Pittsburgh and the surrounding region. I'm your host, Jim Cannon. Thanks for joining me. Before we jump in to test your brain, please take note of our website, pittsburghtriviapodcast.com, where you can go to find the latest episode, and you can also subscribe to be notified when those episodes are posted. The show is absolutely free. So here's how Pittsburgh Trivia works. 2 rounds of 5 questions each, and then one final, slightly tougher question at the end. That's a grand total of 11 questions about our magnificent city. For each round, I will read the question and give a 5-second pause before going on to the next one. At the end of each round, I'll repeat each question before revealing the answers, along with some supplemental information. So you can have fun, tap into your own knowledge, and learn some things along the way. So those are the rules. If you're ready, let's get started. Round 1, question 1. We'll start off with a simple sports question. Located on the North Shore between PNC Park and Acrisure Stadium is a monument dedicated to this legendary and defining NFL play from 1972. Visitors can place their foot exactly where the event took place. The famous play goes by what holy name? Question 2. In 2018, Huffington Post named Prantle's Bakery in Shadyside as having the best what in America? Question 3. The book and subsequent movie A Beautiful Mind, the movie, of course, starring Russell Crowe, was about a real person named John Nash. Before completing his PhD at Princeton, Nash received his bachelor's and master's degrees in mathematics from what university? And question 4. Kennywood, the Allegheny County Courthouse and Jail, Neville House, and about 10 other locations carry this national designation. And question 5. In what town, named after a British general who actually did battle on the same site, did Andrew Carnegie build his first steel plant, the Edgar Thomson Steel Works? And here's a hint. It's directly across the river from Kennywood Park. All right, a quick and I think simple round 1 to get you warmed up. Let's check the answers to see how you did. All right, round 1 answers. Question 1. Located on the North Shore between PNC Park and Acrisure Stadium is a monument dedicated to this legendary and defining NFL play from 1972. Visitors can place their foot exactly where the event happened. The famous play goes by what holy name? And that is the Immaculate Reception. Franco Harris scooped up a deflected pass and ran it in for a touchdown, which was the game winner against the Oakland Raiders in what was the first playoff ever for the Steelers. They lost the AFC Championship the next week against the Dolphins, but I'd say things worked out for the Steelers over the next few years. Sadly, Franco Harris passed away in December of 2022. And anyone in Pittsburgh who had any interaction with him said he was a warm and friendly person. Question 2. In 2018, Huffington Post named Prantle's Bakery in Shadyside as having the best what in America? And that would be the best cake. It's a combination of custard cream, vanilla cake, buttercream frosting, and sugared almonds on top. Now, Prantle's has received other awards for its burnt almond torte over the years, including the best wedding cake and best cake in Pennsylvania. And question 3. The book and subsequent movie, A Beautiful Mind, was about a real person named John Nash. Before completing his PhD at Princeton, Nash received his bachelor's and master's degrees in mathematics from what university? And that is Carnegie Tech, which we now call Carnegie Mellon University. After getting those degrees and the doctorate at Princeton, Nash became a faculty member at MIT from 1951 to 1958, and then went back to Princeton as a senior research mathematician. In 1994, Nash, along with 2 others, received the Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences for their pioneering analysis of equilibria in the theory of non-cooperative games. This work, sometimes called the Nash equilibrium, has greatly influenced research in economics and finance. In May of 2015, Nash and his wife died in a tragic car accident. Question 4. Kennywood. The Allegheny County Courthouse and Jail, Neville House, and about 10 other locations carry this national designation. And that is National Historic Landmarks. These are sites recognized by the federal government. And directly from their page, because I didn't want to mess this up, National Historic Landmarks, NHLs, are historic properties that illustrate the heritage of the United States. The over 2,600 NHLs found in the U.S. today come in many forms: historic buildings, sites, structures, objects, and districts. Each NHL represents an outstanding aspect of American history and culture. Now, some other locations, you can look them up. You can look up the full list online, but some other locations around Pittsburgh include the Bost Building in Homestead, the Braddock Carnegie Library, and the Emmanuel Episcopal Church on the north side. And question 5. In what town, named after a British general who actually did battle on the same site, did Andrew Carnegie build his first steel plant, the Edgar Thomson Steel Works? And the hint was it's directly across the river from Kennywood Park. The name of that town is Braddock, named after General Edward Braddock, who was mortally wounded in the 1755 Battle of Monongahela by French and Indian fighters. When Carnegie built the plant, it was under the name Carnegie McCandless and Company. And in 1901, he sold the plant to U.S. Steel. The plant was named after Edgar Thomson, who, at the time, was the president of the Pennsylvania Railroad. Not too bad, right? Did you manage to get all 5? This show covers all topics from sports to geography, so I know there are a few of you who know just enough trivia to be dangerous. Well, no matter how you did in round 1, we have more questions coming up. Before we get to round 2, please note that if you're enjoying the show, having fun, and want to hear more episodes, you can head to our website, pittsburghtriviapodcast.com, and subscribe. We'll notify you as soon as the next episode is posted and ready to play. And you can also check us out on social media. The links to our accounts are available on the website. Thank you for your interest, and thank you for listening. All right, you ready for the next 5 questions? Because here we go with round 2. Question 1. Like many others in Pittsburgh, this current bridge replaced the original structure. The first one was built in 1911 and demolished in May of 1980. And the second and current bridge was built in 1981. It was built by American Bridge Company and spans the Ohio River between its namesake town and Moon Township. Name the bridge. Question 2. If you ever went to the Carnegie Museum of Natural History, you might remember the taxidermy room, the one where they had all the huge taxidermied animals. There was one display that always jumped out, the one originally entitled Arab courier attacked by lions. Remember the guy on a camel with a knife in his mouth? Well, the action sequence was on display for decades. In 2018, the museum removed the display when a CT scan revealed the presence of this in the human figure. Question 3. While quoted estimates vary, since 1938, when it was built, somewhere between 10,000 and 14,000 couples have been wed at this location in Oakland. Question 4. In February 2005, this internationally known singer from New Jersey received a Grammy for his live performance of the song Code of Silence, which was recorded in 2000 and was co-written by local longtime Pittsburgh musician Joe Grishecki. That same performer produced a 1995 album by Joe Grishecki and the House Rockers. Who is the singer? And question 5. Now this will be one of those questions you either know or you don't. And I don't think a random guess is going to work, but here goes. The Civic Arena was the recording location for this Los Angeles band's 1970 album, Live in Pittsburgh 1970, that includes a 22-minute version of their song, When the Music's Over. All right, that's it for round 2. I'm pretty sure at least one of those was way too easy for the round, but I guess we'll find out. Let's check the answers to see how you did. Question 1. Like many others in Pittsburgh, this current bridge replaced the original structure. The first one was built in 1911 and demolished in May of 1980, and the second and current bridge was built in 1981. It was built by American Bridge Company and spans the Ohio River between its namesake town and Moon Township. Name the bridge. And that is the Sewickley Bridge. The original was built by Fort Pitt Bridge Works, and the total length of the current bridge is about 1,500 feet. Question 2. If you ever went to the Carnegie Museum of Natural History, you might remember the taxidermy room, the one where they had all the taxidermied animals. There was a display that always jumped out, the one entitled Arab Courier Attacked by Lions. The action sequence was on display for decades. In 2018, the museum removed the display when a CT scan revealed the presence of this in the human figure. And the answer is, the CT scan showed that the Arab courier figure included a real human skull and teeth. Yeah, so the Carnegie purchased the display in 1898 from the American Museum of Natural History in New York for $50. The museum was doing routine restoration, and they thought, we're going to scan this thing to see what repairs we actually need. Well, imagine their surprise when they found a real human skull in there. Oh, and it gets better. The lions in the display were actual taxidermied Barbary lions. And question 3. While quoted estimates vary, since 1938 when it was built, somewhere between 10,000 and 14,000 couples have been wed at this location in Oakland. And that is the Yinz Chapel. According to a 2023 University Times article, the Yinz Chapel coordinator stated the number was over 10,000, but there was also a Post-Gazette story in 2019 in which that same person had said 13,000. And yet another news piece in 2021 stated 14,000. So it's somewhere around that number, and we'll just go with a lot. Question 4. Oh, this is a long one, but you're going to love this. In February 2005, this internationally known singer from New Jersey received a Grammy for his live performance of the song Code of Silence, which was recorded in 2000 and was co-written by local longtime Pittsburgh musician Joe Grushecky. That same performer produced a 1995 album by Joe Grushecky and the House Rockers. That is the boss, Bruce Springsteen. Now, those two guys have known each other for decades, as they had both been touring up and down the East Coast trying to make it big back in the 70s. And when Grushecky was getting started in the 70s, he had a band called the Brick Alley Band. In 1977, they got signed to a record label and changed the name to the Iron City House Rockers. They released a few albums but broke up in 1984. Then in 1989, Grushecky rolled out his new band just called the House Rockers. Following that is when they had their album produced by Springsteen. In 1997, Grushecky and Springsteen co-wrote the song Code of Silence, but neither of them ever performed it. And then in 2000, Springsteen was on tour with the E Street Band. It was kind of a reunion thing. And he did the song live one night at Madison Square Garden. In February of 2005, 5 years after that performance, he was awarded the Grammy for Best Solo Rock Vocal Performance. So you might be thinking, well, why did it take that long? Because the live recorded version was on a bonus disc included in the first run of the Essential Bruce Springsteen collection. And it was the first time it was kind of known publicly that he had done it. Other note, in 2006, they, Joe and Bruce, released their joint version, but it was on a Joe Grushecky album. Question 5. This will be one of those questions you either knew it or you didn't. The Civic Arena was the recording location for this Los Angeles band's 1970 album, Live in Pittsburgh, 1970, that includes a 22-minute version of their song, When the Music's Over. The answer is The Doors. And that album was recorded May 2nd, 1970. And according to the guy who produced the album, Bruce Botnick, Jim Morrison was on top of his game for that show, and really the whole band was. So it's one of the better preservations of the true talent of the short-lived Doors. All right, how was that round of questions? I'll bet the bridge question threw a lot of you. Well, you have a chance at a comeback with the bonus question. Again, we want to remind you to check out the podcast on our website, pittsburghtriviapodcast.com. And if you'd like to provide some feedback, hit the contact button and drop us a line. All right, this is it. Hope your Pittsburgh brain is fired up. Here we go with the bonus question. All right, we're talking about a radio station for this one. Are you ready? If you look at all call signs for radio stations, you'll notice that with the exception of stations that were established before the FCC regulation, any station east of the Mississippi begins with the letter W. For Pittsburgh radio station WAMO, or WAMO, what do the other three letters stand for? All right, the answer is, in the call sign WAMO, you eliminate the W. What do the A and the M and the O stand for? Allegheny, Monongahela, and Ohio, the three rivers. According to a piece in Pittsburgh Magazine, the station started as WHOD, an AM station, in 1948, and they played Greek music, polkas, and a genre that came to be known as rhythm and blues. And some of the first DJs there were Mary D. Dudley, who's believed to be the first black female disc jockey in the country, her brother Melvin Good, who we covered on a previous episode, and Pittsburgh legend Porky Chedwick. Chedwick was one of the first white radio personalities anywhere to play music by black performers. In 1956, other stations in the city had caught on to the popular music, and WHOD changed its call sign to WAMO, again reflecting their heritage as a Pittsburgh station. And then they went to country and western. In the 1970s, due to changes in a lot of the radio world of Pittsburgh, WAMO went back to their roots and became kind of a go-to station for R&B. So that's it for this episode. Did you have some fun? Did you know as much as you thought you did? I hope so, and I hope you enjoyed playing along. Please let your family and friends know about the show, and that way you can all play along together. Also, when you have a minute, please head to the website and hit subscribe, and you'll be notified when the next episode is posted. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
What? You're never gonna believe this. We'll leave that nugget for next time. So if you want more wacky Pittsburgh trivia, be sure to subscribe and we'll invite you back to our next episode. But if you just can't wait, visit our website at pittsburghtriviapodcast.com, where we think Pittsburgh trivia isn't trivial.